If you've watched my Subaru BRZ features video, then you're probably wondering what it's like to drive. Well guys, the answer happens right here, right now, because in this video, we are going to drive the 2022 Subaru BRZ Automatic. Let's do this! Most purists would say that the only way to spec a sports car is to go for a manual transmission. Heck guys, I even count myself as one of those people. However, there is a case to be made for sports cars that come equipped with an automatic transmission, such as this 2022 Subaru BRZ with a 6-speed automatic. To show you those merits, we are going for a drive. But before we begin, guys, I'd like to invite you to click that subscribe button for your regular dose of Philippine automotive content. Now that you've subscribed already, let's go for that drive. The BRZ may have the same cabin layout as the first gen, but the materials and tech used here have leveled up. The cabin is surprisingly quiet and it feels really more like a GT than an actual sports car. I'd even go as far as saying that this cabin is refined and comfortable. Thing is, I am comparing this second-gen BRZ to my 2018 Mazda MX5 Miata, and that car has a soft-top convertible roof. So yes, it is refined and quiet in that sense. However, put it in sport mode and step on the throttle and you get engine noises coming inside the cabin. The thing is, these induction noises sounds good, but these are piped into the cabin through a speaker found underneath the glove box. Now it makes you feel like you're a boy racer, even if the engine is not really that loud outside. Funny thing is, guys, when you toot the horn sound also gets piped into the cabin through that same speaker, and it is a weird experience. Luckily guys, if that induction noises is not really your thing, you can just do a DIY, do it yourself, and just disable that speaker in case you find it to be annoying. And in case you're wondering how to disable that speaker, well, you can always consult Mr. Google. Now, the BRZ is known as a handling car, and this second generation also delivers. It has a good balance around the corners, and those Michelin PS4s, well, they do a great job in keeping this rear end in place. It feels more planted, giving me the confidence to take on corners at a faster clip. Now, the chassis of this second-gen BRZ is based off Subaru's global platform now, so it is 50% more rigid than the first gen. Well, at least that's what the Subaru says. Now, that also explains why it feels so neutral around the corners. Well, of course, if you do want to play around and let the rear end kick loose, then you just have to turn off the traction control and still whip it around. Now, the Michelin PS4s, the tires of this thing, would make it a little bit harder to kick out though, but it is still quite possible. The thing is, guys, good handling would be wasted if the steering feel is not up to par, and thankfully, the BRZ's steering also delivers. You see, you got the perfect weight for a performance machine, and it responds sharply enough. The steering feel of this BRZ is much better than, let's say, other electric power assist systems out there. I would even put it to be a little bit sharper than my own Mazda MX5 Miata. And the good thing there is, despite being an electric power assist assembly, well, this steering also does its best to deliver some form of feedback to the driver. Now let's talk about the elephant in this room, and that would be the transmission of this Subaru BRZ. You see, this media unit that I have here is equipped with a 6-speed automatic transmission and not the delicious 6-speed manual that I would have preferred. Thankfully guys, the BRZ's automatic, well, it is an automatic. It's a 6-speed automatic, and it's not Subaru's Lineartronic CVT. Now, the car is light enough that it doesn't really need the extra fuel savings of a CVT transmission. Now, in normal mode, the automatic behaves like it's on eco mode because the throttle inputs are a little bit constrained. It's really trying to maximize on its fuel economy. Now, for a better transmission response, I mean, if you want to play around, or let's say you're just in a rush to look for the nearest toilet, then it's best to put it on sport mode. Now, it also has a track mode, guys, but I wouldn't recommend putting it in track mode unless you absolutely know what you're doing, because track mode also disables traction control. Now, the sport mode's shift logic is also quite decent enough, such that I didn't really see myself needing to play around with the paddle shifters of this thing when I put it in sport mode. I mean, it just knows when to downshift, when to upshift, and all that. So it's also pretty decent in that sense. But, well, I still wouldn't trade this for a proper 6-speed manual transmission. But then that's just me, guys. I'm an enthusiast. I love driving. Now, another noticeable trait here of the BRZ is the brake feel. The brake pedal itself is on the hard side, and it needs to be really stepped on if you want it to bite hard. Now, some people like that. Some people prefer that. But personally, I like my brake pedal to have a little bit of give to it, so that I could have, the proper brake pedal modulation. Now, I know some of you guys want me to do a drift test, or maybe even drive this BRZ on a racetrack and show it on video. But guys, please understand that I am just a one-man team, and there's really no production crew behind me. So I produce these videos all by myself, or sometimes with the occasional help from my family and friends. So maybe when the channel is big enough to support a production team, then I can give you those kinds of videos. So guys, it would be a huge help if you can just click that subscribe button, well, for your regular dose of Philippine automotive content. Anyway guys, to wrap it up, well, with 234 horses on tap, the power of this second-gen BRZ feels good. The torque delivery is smooth all the way up to the red line because, well, Subaru has already eliminated that dreaded torque dip that can be found in the first-generation BRZ. The thing is, even if your speedometer is telling you that you are going fast, well, it doesn't really feel that way here inside. Aside from the fake induction noises that you're getting from that speaker under the glove box, well, the cabin of the BRZ is fairly quiet. Now, most people would like that. But I prefer to feel a little bit more connected to the car when I'm driving it at speed. I want to feel that power when I'm gunning it. But the BRZ doesn't really give you that. It feels soft and refined. As I said, it feels like a GT more than let's say, a sports car. Now, I may have a different perspective or experience of this if, let's say, I drive the BRZ with a 6-speed manual transmission. But then again, guys, we will just have to wait until I get my hands on a manual transmission BRZ to truly find out. The Subaru BRZ is one of the most convenient sports cars today. It still provides more power and performance than most people can handle, and yet Subaru managed to put it all together in a comfortable driving package. It's one of the safest and most user-friendly sports cars today, and with a 6-speed automatic transmission, I myself wouldn't mind driving this daily as long as you just mind the low ride height and of course the compromised cargo capacity. Now guys, While there is a strong case to be made for the Subaru BRZ equipped with a 6-speed automatic transmission, well, those who prefer a more engaging driving experience would still be better served if they spec the Subaru BRZ with a 6-speed manual transmission. Thanks for watching.